So maybe then let's start at the beginning with learning to code. Is there, so starting with maybe Piers' question, how can you learn to code to the level of getting a job without doing a degree in computer science? Firstly, is it possible?
Good question. So just to lay a little bit of background, the material that they teach you in a computer science curriculum has very little to do with what you would actually do as a programmer.
Okay.
Um, so I mentioned a minute ago that I don't have a college degree. I did go to college for a while, um, and I was actually really bad at the academic part of it also. It was kind of an interesting pattern where I would get 100% on most of the assignments where you would actually write a program and then take it in and get graded on it, get 100% on those, and then I would fail the tests. So the written test where they would drill you in on all the theory stuff. So I could do the work, I just couldn't take the tests. But in any case, the kinds of things that are taught in computer science are like algorithms and compilers and all that kind of stuff. And the work that you do as an actual web developer is totally different stuff. So by not having a computer science degree, I don't think you're actually behind from any practical sense.
Yeah, because
Um,
because
mhm.
ultimately, the companies all they care about is that you can do the job. They don't care about the superfluous stuff that you might have learned along the way. It's just a question of, can you do the job?
Exactly. So that leaves the question still, how do you actually gain those skills on your own? And the way I did it, and the way every software developer did it who I know, is they just taught themselves. There's a number of different ways you can do that, but the way that I recommend is that you start a project and make sure it's a project that you can maintain interest in over a long period of time, and just work on that same project for a really long time. And what's best is if it can be a project that's not just something that you never show anybody your project, but something that other people will actually use, because that will give you the kinds of, the projects you're going to be working on at work. Those are real products that support businesses. People are actually using those products to do their jobs. So as close of a simulation your personal project can be to that, the closer your experience will be to what you actually need to get a job.
Okay, no, I like that. So maybe just breaking it down then. When you say say project, what do you mean by that? Do you mean more like a website or some sort of computer tool, or what do you mean?
I'll give you an example of something I've done in the past. And this is an example of when I was using a certain set of technologies and I wanted to transition into using a different set of technologies. There's kind of a chicken egg problem where nobody wants to hire you until you have experience, but you can't get experience until somebody hires you.
Yep.
And so this is a way around that problem. So around 2009, I was using PHP, and I had been using PHP for several years. And for people who don't know, PHP is just a programming language, very popular programming language. But I was doing a little bit of research on my own time, and I discovered a different language called Ruby, which I actually found a lot more attractive for certain reasons. And so I said, this language is so cool. Compared to Ruby, PHP seems really like yucky. And so how can I transition my career into using this different technology? And so I started doing some side projects, and the one that kind of lasted, and the one that ended up launching me into my first real Ruby job was scheduling software for hair salons. And
Okay.
so just the real brief backstory for how that came about was my wife got a job at a hair salon. She had never worked at a hair salon before. And when I visited my wife at work and saw the scheduling software that they were using there, I was really surprised by how low quality it was. It was really difficult to use. It was really ugly, all those things. And I thought, well, I can probably build something better than this. And before that, before I dove into building it, I checked around and looked at the competing products, and they were just all just like really bad. I was like, okay, I can do something better than this. And so that's where that idea came from. And I did get some actual salons to use the product, And so that was a lot more realistic experience than if I had just built something and just used it solo.